This is Dan of Vagabond Awake, and today we're lucky to have our friend Iggy on the channel for an interview. Iggy?
Thank you, Dan. Thanks for coming visiting us.
It's nice to meet you in person. We've met on the phone a few times.
This is our third interview.
Yeah. Iggy thought up this idea of the slow travel wheel, and he's decided he wants to implement it. And Iggy, tell us a little bit about what the slow travel wheel is. What's the idea?
The whole idea started off with us wanting to travel the world. And then I was watching a lot of YouTube videos, including a lot of yours. You've been to so many countries. And everything was showcasing a city, a country, and stuff like that. But the logistics of how to get there, make the arrangements, which is a nightmare. I couldn't figure out. I said, okay, here is a need I see that will help a lot of people. For me, it was seeing the world. I want to visit every city in the world. But then so would be a lot of other people who would like to do that. And one thing we were convinced is we want to do a slow travel. Go stay in a city for at least a week. Okay? We have seen the world, most of the world already, during our working years, but they were all 1 or 2 days. So this is a concept of bringing the slow travel, which you have popularized, one of them who popularized it, with the concept of wheel. A wheel is basically nothing but, it's like imagine a circle of people, and each person is in one city. They stay there for a week. They explore that city by walk, by a next door neighbor, blah, blah, blah. And then the next week they move to the next city. The person behind them in that circle moves to the city they just left. And they move to a city, and that person who was staying there has moved on to the next city. Yeah. So we will be 52 of us moving to 52 different cities, 1 week at a time. So at the end of 1 year, 52 weeks, we would have seen all these 52 cities in a slow travel fashion. And the advantage is we make all the difficult arrangements of finding a place for you to stay in the most appropriate place that's easy to walk to next door to buy your groceries, your farmer's market, and things like that. And we are choosing cities where a lot of expats are already living. So we decided there are 2 groups of people we think we cater to. The one group is the group of people who are looking to explore cities for a low-cost living. In the United States, you know how the costs are today. And the Americans are interested in South America because of the time zone and travel times they want to ideally retire in. The Europeans want to come retire in Southeast Asia because for them, again, it's a shorter flight and all that stuff. So we thought we will select 26 cities in South America, all the countries, 26 cities in Southeast Asia, for a total of 52 weeks. That is the general concept of the wheel. And thanks to you and the videos we did before, we have been getting a lot of responses. And I think we are right there on the verge of doing something about it. That's in short what a wheel is. Right. Do you have any questions on the wheel?
No, I think it's great because slow traveling now for over a decade. I think I'm 17 years now. You're right. Yeah. The hard part is, where am I going next? How do I rent it? How do I get there?
Yeah.
So you're taking that part of the burden away from people. I think
yes. Critical. One of the feedbacks I get from a few people is, hey, I can do this on my own on Airbnb. Yeah. Why do I need to join the wheel?
Right.
If you go choose a place on Airbnb, if you have had experiences, first of all, you don't know, are you in the right place in the city to explore everything by foot?
Right.
And so there's no feedback. Whereas we have vetted all that and we have selected the right place for you. Right. And we actually bring it to you at a very low cost, hopefully much lower than the Airbnb cost.
Right.
That's what is the advantage of the wheel for people.
Right. Yeah. So now, I want to ask you about your background because you have a lot of business experience. But I want to say first, for people that may not be able to listen all the way to the end, how do they find you? Like, what's the name of your web page?
My last project that I did was...
No, before your background though, just what's the name of your web page?
Oh, for the wheel, it's slowworldtravel.com.
Okay, slowworldtravel.com.
Slowworldtravel.com.
Now, so that's how they can find you,
yes,
right? And join his email list on that web page, and we'll also put a link below the video for you to join. But tell us about your background. One of the things I was fascinated about Iggy is just different projects he's worked on. Like the one you're working on in Florida right now, like a place where people live, 300 people live there in a residence in Florida. And then that's not your first rodeo.
No.
So
Let me start going from the most current. In 2008, Indians have been going to the US for professional work. Doctors, engineers, professors, everybody. From the 60s, majority started moving 60s, 70s.
Right.
And now they're all retiring. And Indians, the majority of them are vegetarians.
Right.
And they want Indian vegetarian food.
Yeah.
So when they retire, they're looking for a place where they can get such food, and no such place was available.
Right.
So I said, how can I bring India or Indian culture, Indian food to a community? So in Florida, I started this company called Shantiniketan, a retirement community. And I have built 3 projects, 100 each, total of 300 now.
300 families.
300, yes. I mean, 300 homes.
Right.
Being a retirement place, many of them are singles.
Right.
So maybe 25% of them are singles.
Okay.
But 300 couples could live.
Yeah.
And each one is a condo, 2-bedroom condo, bathroom, kitchen, everything.
Yeah. And you also you provide the food there
yes,
too, right?
we cook Indian vegetarian food, 2 meals a day, lunch and dinner.
Right.
And the entire operations is run as a non-profit.
Right.
Okay. Where one of our motto or starting goal was a person should be able to live, a couple should be able to live in our community with all costs, that is the food, the utilities, condo fees, property taxes, everything together under one person's social security income, which today is about $1,500 a person.
Wow.
But our costs in Shantiniketan is only $1,300 a month for a couple with food and everything, except medical, where everybody has Medicare.
Yeah.
So that's the project I just finishing up.
Yeah.
And as the next project, I'm planning to take up this wheel.
Yeah.
Now, prior to that, I'm from India, and I've done a few projects in India. The first project I did was I developed one of the first time-sharing projects in India.
Right.
I built about 4 or 5 resorts, and that was a public company that was listed in the Mumbai and Chennai stock exchanges.
Right.
And after that, I started a company called Motels. Those days, I'm talking about 80s, 90s, when you travel by highways, there were no proper rest areas. So I came up with an idea that every 100 kilometers, which is a 2-hour travel those days, I would build a standardized, I kind of married the concept of a McDonald's with a US rest area, where you would have standardized food, clean toilets, and about 5 rooms in a module that was expandable depending on the business. So anybody who goes by road, those days, I'm ashamed to say the way we had to use toilets, especially in the nights when we go, was horrible. And I wanted to solve that problem, and I came up with that idea.
So my point is just that when I talked, Iggy, he emailed me, we chatted on the phone first, and I thought this guy can put this together if he wants to. So that's kind of thanks for sharing that. And so tell us, what are the next steps for the project? No, again, you want to go to his webpage, get on his email list, link below, because you're putting out emails about what you're about to talk about. Is that right?
Yes. Okay. As part of the slowworldtravel.com, and you have a link through which people have already started becoming members. So if they are not members but are interested in traveling, like under the concept, a low-cost travel to see the world. They should become members. And although I wouldn't say I would do it weekly, but as and when I have information, I would broadcast it to them. So to start with, now preliminarily, I have this thing in mind that we will select Malaysia in Southeast Asia and Mexico in South America, because that is the easiest for me to coordinate, because I have one foot in Malaysia because we are retiring here. And one foot, we are already in US, so Mexico is easy for us. So what we thought, we will select the top 4 or 5 cities in Mexico where maximum number of expats are living. Okay? You know, Mexico, there are already 1.5 million Americans living as expats. You know, places like Mexico City and, you know, that 𝗖𝗍𝗄𝗄, a lot of places like Querétaro and Puerto Vallarta. These are the top places. So what I'm doing is, I'm trying to select cities which are approximately like maybe 200-300 kilometers apart. So people will stay in 1 week, let's say Puerto Vallarta, and then after a week they'll come to Mexico City, and then they'll go to 𝗖𝗍𝗄𝗄, and they'll end up in Cancun or something. So that's the plan. So once, as I'm getting the feedback from people, and I will also be communicating with them back and forth, because this is something that it's not like I bake this cookie and say, now buy it. No, I want to bake what people want.
You want to bake cookies they want to eat.
They want to eat. So there will be a lot of interaction with them to fine tune the product. And timing wise, I'm finishing up my current retirement project in July. And starting July, and even earlier, as soon as we go back now, I'm going to be spending about 6 months actually traveling to all the 52 cities. And I'm going to be lining up. There are going to be 3 people in each city that will help our travelers. One we call the ambassador, who is most likely an expat living there already, who have a lot of, so you have any questions the traveler has about that city, he will be able to answer. We'll have a realtor who would find the place for us and be our property manager. So in case when our travelers go, there's a problem with the rental, they just have to call the property manager, they'll take care of it. And the third one we have would be a housekeeper who would be cleaning the house after they leave between visits. And then of course they'll pay them directly, and if they want additional cleaning or some help, these housekeepers can help them for a cost. So those are the 3 people I hope to have lined up in each city. And before they reach that city, I will give these 3 contacts to the wheel traveler. So as they are staying in the previous city, they can be in touch with them and tell them, hey, we'll be there next Saturday, next Sunday, whatever. And so that is what I'm going to work on now in the next 6 months. And I hope to launch the project live in starting January 2025. Hopefully I'll be ready with all 52 weeks, and definitely maybe a 3-month wheel by then. So
yeah, well, that's great. So so as Iggy's developing this project, and so if you get on his email list, you'll update them on what's going on with it. Constantly I'll be in touch with them. Good. And so the first link in the notes below this video will be a link to Iggy's email list. You want to get on the email list. And on your webpage, is there a link to get on the email list yet?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. There is a contact us page. That page gets them into our database.
Oh, so if they go to your contact us page, that'll put them on the email list?
Yes.
I've said this before, but I'm cheering Iggy on here. I don't have any interest in the project. In other words, I'm not going to be paid. I don't want to be paid, but I want him to be successful because it'll make it easier for all of us slow travelers out there. That's really my motivation.
Talking about payment, even I don't expect to make money out of it. I don't want to lose my money either.
Of course.
I've reached that stage of the life that I don't have to make money in this. But if I can make this happen, as with all my projects in the past, if I can make this happen even on a cost basis to everybody,
Yeah.
that I would consider the success.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's what we want to do. You know.
Yeah. I mean, as a traveler, I can tell you that the fun part is when you get to a city and you start exploring it. And everything before you get there is a little bit of work. You have to, how you get there, do you bus, do you fly, and then where's
all those details. In fact, my wife and I, we would be now starting in July, going to each city, and I would record how you travel the cheapest way from one place to the other. Then in each city, where you can eat, what would be each food you eat.
Right.
I would be documenting everything and sharing it with my wheel members.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Iggy, thanks for the update, telling us what's going on.
Thanks for coming visiting us, you and Chang. And, we are so glad.
Yeah. So Iggy's in Malaysia now. You may know we're in Malaysia at this moment, and it's a lovely house you have here. It's beautiful. And you've been in Malaysia MM2H.
Yes, I'm on MM2H. We got it about 5-6 years ago.
Right.
So next year we are due for renewal because my passport is expiring.
Yeah.
So I have to renew the passport and then renew for another 10 years.
Right.
And we are part of the older MM2H plan.
So you're grandfathered.
We are grandfathered.
Yeah.
So we don't have to put any more money, nothing.
Right.
We just get it extended every 10 years.
Yeah.
And now we have bought this house and they've returned half the money to me. The deposit they require, when you buy a property, they'll return half the money.
Right.
That's one thing people might want to know.
Yeah, the visa deposit.
Yes.
You can get half of it back.
Half of it back when you buy a property.
Right.
Yes. It's a collaborative effort.
Right.
It is going to be and I really want people who are expats who are living in each city to be one of our key players, and then references to realtors who can get us the place.
Good.
So those are the two important things that I will be looking for when I come to your city.
Yeah.
I would like to meet all of you, and of course I will let you know that I'm in your city.
Right.
And let's all have a cup of coffee and talk about how we do that in that city.
Yeah. So if you're an expat in a city, or you plan to be, and you're looking for something interesting to do, definitely also get on the list so Iggy can let you know what he's up to.
Yeah, those expats, because as they could be consultants to our travelers, and that could be a source of income for them also.
Right.
In the long run.
And I'm sure all that detail will develop over time.
Yes.
Yeah, whether you want to travel or whether you want to be an ambassador, definitely get on Iggy's email list. Iggy, thanks for sharing your story with us again.
Thank you very much. And I'm sure we're going to cross our paths soon in some other country.
Yeah, thanks so much. Jump on Iggy's email list at slowworldtravel.com or click the first link in the notes below this YouTube video.